was a blasting qualification run that Mario put his car on the pole with, but he pointed out, racing is always a team effort.
The pole day, we had some problems leading into the qualifying run, and it seems like we tried to inspire one another by just giving it all, everything that we've got. They usually 99.9% of the time give me the best car I could ever expect from anyone, and I try to give them back what they deserve, try to give them back 100% of myself, and as long as we know that prevails, I think we can overcome any disappointment, really.
And the challenge for Mario Andretti and the rest is 200 laps, 500 miles around the magnificent tri-oval that is Pocono International Raceway. And it's a wonderful sunshiny day here in the Pocono Mountains. Hello, I'm Paul Page, and with me today, two-time national champion, the 1977 winner of the Pocono 500, Tom Sneva. Now, Tom, Mario Andretti at the Indianapolis 500 was leading, fell out of the race. At the Michigan 500, exactly the same situation. What's his challenge now? How does he win a 500-miler?
Well, Paul, teams continually strive to gain a competitive edge on the people that they race against. Mario's team, one of the ways they've tried to gain this advantage is through an engine development program, a horsepower advantage. The problem is, when you're on the leading edge of technology, the price that you sometimes pay is reliability.
Pocono itself is one very, very rugged race course. It literally beats the car and driver down. You've driven it. Their challenge there.
Well, there really is. Not only physically to the driver and the equipment, but the mental strain of preparing for every corner, which is quite a bit different on this racetrack. 3 very distinct, different corners. That is the big challenge here. And when the race is over, these drivers, their body is going to tell them that they earned every cent of their paycheck today.
Well, the time for supposition is now over. It's the third jewel in motor racing's Triple Crown, the Pocono 500, and it's time for that most famous command in racing.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
So with the famous command from Roger Markle, the President and Chief Operating Officer of Quaker State Corporation, the engines now fire up and down the pit road here at Pocono International Raceway. Roberto Guerrero, one final swipe of the eyes. There's the points leader. Mario Andretti, the pole sitter. Danny Sullivan, the former winner here. All sit ready now for the green flag. We look up and down the line. Everybody indicates they are fired. Their engine is ready. They are ready to roll out. Officials with their hands in the air saying each row is now ready to go, and we're ready for the start. All the field is set and ready to go, so today it's the Quaker State 500 on Sports World. Field pulls away. Immediately they move up onto the circuit to test what is a very rough straightaway here at Pocono. All 26 cars away and rolling. It's a beautiful day at Pocono, and we are ready to go racing for 200 laps, 500 miles. There are 26 cars in the starting field for the Quaker State 500. The pole sitter is the defending champion, Mario Andretti, and his Chevrolet-powered Lola. The inside of the front row, Rick Mears, is trying to end a 2-year dry spell today. And the outside of the front row is Bobby Rahal. He has never won at Pocono. The second row, on the inside, is Roberto Guerrero. He looks for his first 500 win. Michael Andretti sits in the center of the second row. He won 2 weeks ago at the Michigan 500. And the outside of the second row is young Scotty Brayton, looking for his first IndyCar win. The third row on the inside is A.J. Foyt, the only 4-time winner of the Pocono 500. The center of that row, another veteran, 2-time winner, Al Unser, the Indianapolis champion. And the outside is his son, Al Unser Jr. His best finish here is second. Jeff Brabham is on the inside of the fourth row. He's never won an IndyCar race. 2-time world driving champion Emerson Fittipaldi is in the center of the fourth row. And on the outside, Johnny Rutherford, former Pocono 500 winner, in his backup car because of this crash during practice. But Johnny is uninjured and ready to go in the backup machine. The fifth row on the inside is Kevin Cogan, looking for his second IndyCar win. Ari Lyondike sits in the center of the fifth row, looking for his first IndyCar win. And the outside is Pancho Carter, the winner of the inaugural Michigan 500, looking for his second IndyCar win. Those are the top 5 rows for the Quaker State 500. And we take a look at the remainder of this field, the final 4 rows. There are 2 gentlemen there who have won IndyCar races, Danny Sullivan, who has won here at Pocono, and Gary Bentonhausen, who is also an IndyCar winner, looking to get back on the winning streak. He has not won since 1973. The fastest rookie is Randy Lewis. We take a look at the course itself. It's a tri-oval, 2.5 miles around, 2 turns that are banked reasonably, and then a very, very flat third turn, only 6 degrees. Some very long straightaways here. The main straight, 3,700 yards long. A new member of our team here, 15 years of television news experience, a 5-year veteran of Indianapolis, my wife, Sally Larvick.
Last year, the rear wing on Rick Mears' race car lost him the race when it came loose while he was in the lead. This year, the rear wing might actually help him win the race, and that's because the Penske crew has developed a means of adjusting the rear wings while in the pits. And the way that they do this is by replacing this small strip of aluminum called the wicker bill. The wicker bill helps adjust the downforce of the rear wing. Now, up until this time, once the wicker bill was placed on the edge of the wing, it remained there. It was stationary. It was very difficult to get out. But now the Penske crew has devised a method whereby they can slip the old wicker bill out and slip the new one in just a matter of seconds. And on a track as rough as this one is, controlling the downforce is crucial to winning this race. Paul?
So we'll keep an eye on Rick Mears' car. It should be much more adjustable. We're looking over the shoulder of Bobby Rahal out on the circuit. One man we will be especially watching, though, is Mario Andretti, the pole sitter, the defending champion. Gary Gerald has that story.
Paul, 2 weeks ago in the Michigan 500, Mario Andretti came up with a performance that was as dominating as any we've seen in recent years in the IndyCar ranks when he opened up a full 2-lap advantage over the field in the early stages. Of course, some motor problems in that Chevrolet power plant cost him a chance for victory, just as it did at Indianapolis in May when he dominated that 500-miler. Of course, there was acute frustration for not only Mario, as we heard him allude a few moments ago, but for every member of this Newman-Haas racing team. The result now, following that frustration, some modifications in that Chevrolet power plant. The big question, can it go 500 miles today? Mario and every member here would gladly trade the 5 poles that they've won this year, including a pole start today at Pocono, for the simple assurance that they could go to the distance this afternoon. I can guarantee you, everybody in this field knows that if Mario Andretti and this team can shake off the tough mechanical luck that has plagued them this year and go 500 miles here this afternoon, this team is going to be very tough to beat.
All right, Gary Gerald, we take a look at Mario Andretti and the front row. Rick Mears, Bobby Rahal, as they come through the second turn off of the Long Pond Straight. Tom Sneva, the key here is going to be keeping that machine working for 500 miles.
Well, no question about it, Paul. It's a long race on a rough racetrack, and, right now we're looking at a lot of adrenaline flow here. It's not a problem with psyching yourself up for the start of a race. Actually, they're trying to psych themselves down, get it under control, and the concerns vary as you go back through the rows on the grid. Later in the pack, they have to be concerned about things that might happen because they realize if it happens, it's a good chance it's going to be in front of them. They're trying to get through this first lap.
You're riding on the outside of the front row. The view is over Bobby Rahal's right shoulder. The yellow light still burns, but in just a few seconds we should see the green wink on because now they are in the third turn and the Quaker State 500 is about to begin. Nick Bonoro is the starter. Jack Pearson of Quaker State, the honorary starter. The green flag flies. Look at them spread 6, 7 abreast, and already we are racing as they scream for the first turn. Here in the Quaker State 500, Mario Andretti swings way to the outside, dives into the first turn, followed by Bobby Rahal, then Michael Andretti, and then Rick Mears.
You notice there are 5 wide coming down the front straightaway. A nice wide racetrack in the front straightaway, but it is rough.
Michael Andretti, we've got a spin coming off of one. Michael Andretti, we're watching. There's a spin. That's Scotty Brayton, and Derek Daly slides through just behind him. So the yellow will fly. That's coming off of the first turn. 2 cars involved, and you can see several down on the grass. Scotty Brayton, who we really expected a great deal out of here today. Scotty started in the 6th position, and look at Johnny Rutherford's car. Johnny Rutherford got involved in that as well. Johnny spun here. You saw the tape of that just a moment ago. And he was in his backup car, and now it's damaged. So the yellow light on with just 1 turn complete in the Quaker State 500. And Bobby Rahal, let's look at this, Tom Sneva.
Looks like Brayton up high again, passing some people, and there we have trouble.
That's Derek Daly.
All right. Brayton's already in trouble early.
Brayton had lost it coming through the corner, and no indication how Johnny Rutherford might have gotten involved in all of this. Rutherford was starting 12th. Scotty Brayton started in the 6th position. So apparently Scotty was the start of all of it, if you just use the positions. Let's take a look one more time at this. Off of the first turn now.
Again, trouble with Derek Daly, but obviously a dominoes effect. He's obviously reacting to something that Scotty did or happened to his car.
It looks like Scotty Brayton just got it loose, got it up against the wall. Several cars in the tightly packed situation moved to avoid as we see Derek Daly come through. Now we take a look at Derek Daly as the crew trying to work on that machine and get it back into action. Bill Kruger, the crew chief. Bill Kruger, by the way, has 2 races as a driver here at Pocono. He supervises his crew, and let's go to the pits of Derek Daly. Here's Gary Gerald.
Well, Derek's sitting patiently in the cockpit. He's waiting to come down off the jacks. They've changed all the tires, fresh rubber now, and Derek gets back on course after that first lap incident coming out of turn 1.
Well, the situation precautionary then. It doesn't appear that there's damage on Derek Daly's car. They just decided to get all of the tires changed so that he can go racing once again, but it appears that Brayton and Rutherford are out. Sneva, we're under yellow because of a spin with Scotty Brayton coming off of the first turn on the first lap. That's the second year in a row that Scotty Brayton has spun in the first lap of this race. Johnny Rutherford also involved. Both those cars damaged. Johnny Rutherford was incident-free for 9 years in this race, but the past few years haven't been very good for him. Let's go back and look at the start of this race, watching the 10 car of Derek Daly starting in last position.
Derek makes a good move at the start of the race. Fairly conservative, but he's passing cars. He qualified on the second day. Doesn't appear to be any problem, but one of the troubles with starting in the back of the pack is you've got a lot of traffic in front of you. Somebody gets in trouble in front of him, he reacts, and he gets involved.
Well, Scotty Brayton, you'll see him come into the picture. There he is up against the wall. Derek spun it, kept it out of the way. One of the Bettenhausens comes by and says, nice job to Derek. He's back in the race. Let's go to Al Unser Jr.'s pits and Sally.
While that incident was occurring on the track, Al Unser had problems too. There was an electrical fire under his dash, and some CO2 got on his leg and burned him. The car is currently in the pits. They're trying to get it fixed. Al is kind of rummied at his leg. Apparently it's bothering him, but hopefully he'll get back in the car and finish the race. Paul?
So a concern in Al Unser's pits. Now we watch as the pace car brings the field around. It'll be Mario Andretti that leads the field down. By the way, the indications are all drivers in that first lap incident are okay. And of course, Derek Daly came in for fresh tires and dropped back in at the back of the field, ready to go racing once again. There he is, now beginning to pick up speed as Mario Andretti, followed by Bobby Rahal, brings the field through the third turn. The green flag flies again, and on lap number 5, we are racing. Mario Andretti accelerates down that very long main straightaway here. Bobby Rahal tries to make a move. Coming to the inside, there comes Michael Andretti to the inside, while Roberto Guerrero drops inside of Rick Mears. But Mario is able to hold off his son, but his son does get around Bobby Rahal and drops into second place. So now it's Mario chased by Michael and then Bobby Rahal.
Michael got a good restart there, picked up the draft, and was able to get by Bobby pretty cleanly.
Well, Mario Andretti, the pole sitter, the defending champion here, out in front. They stretch out, coming over the tunnel turn. That has been a bumpy area on the circuit, but apparently they've done a lot of work with it here, and they've smoothed it out just a bit. Mario Andretti, that Chevrolet that has performed so well at the other 2 500-mile races, taking him almost to victory, but not quite. Onto the main stretch again. Michael Andretti is chasing his father. In third place is Bobby Rahal, and right behind Rahal, and making a move now, that is Roberto Guerrero. So the battle is for third place as Guerrero tries to get inside Rahal. They get into one side by side, and Rahal's not going to let him do it.
It's a little rough getting into one, so if you get a good run on somebody down the inside, you still got to de-accelerate and get on the brakes a little bit getting into one, and Bobby was able to maintain the pace on the outside.
As they head for the second of the 3 turns here, it is the battle for third place. The Andretti's lead it. Mario, then Michael, and now look at Rahal close down on Michael Andretti, as Roberto Guerrero seems, for the moment at least, to have decided to let Rahal sit and watch his pursuit of Michael Andretti.
Bobby got a little bit loose coming off the tunnel turn, so they're going to have to be careful. That's going to sneak up on somebody.
Mario Andretti is the leader. We've already had one yellow flag. We're lap number 7 as Mario Andretti flashes across the line. And again, it's Roberto Guerrero. The same tactics as before. He tries it on the first turn, comes down to the inside. Rick Mears is right there watching. This time, Tom Steva, he gets it done and picks up third.
He got a little bit better run off of 3 and was able to get by a little bit quicker down the front straightaway. Gave him enough room, and he made the pass cleanly.
Is that a performance of the engine, or is Guerrero getting off of the third turn better?
Guerrero obviously got off turn 3 better. It doesn't show up until later in the straightaway, but it looked like he got through turn 3 a lot quicker than Bobby at this point.
So Roberto Guerrero makes a move up. He started in 4th position. He runs up to 3, and now Rick Mears has Bobby Rahal in his sight. Rick Mears, who has not won for 2 years. It was this race 2 years ago that Rick Mears scored his last victory. Now trying to get up in front of the field, and you can see the leaders beginning to pull just a bit away. And Mario Andretti is doing what he's done 2 times before this year at Indianapolis and at Michigan, driving away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, we're not seeing much different right now. Mario's been very, very strong on the high-speed ovals, and again, he's got the balance of the car good early in the race and running comfortably.
Well, Mario Andretti out in front here, the Quaker State 500. The rest of the field, Michael Andretti chases, then Roberto, then Bobby Rahal, and Rick Mears is running 5th. Then A.J. Foyt has now moved up into 6th place, followed by Al Unser. Now, they started right together. Maybe they've got something worked out. Tom Steva, that Unser and Foyt want to run close together.
Well, they've run with each other quite a few times over the last years, and, you know, they know each other. They have the good mental book in each other, and they trust each other.
A.J. Foyt, you see him as he just comes off the turn at the top of your screen, chased by Al Unser. 4 Pocono victories for A.J. Foyt, the only 4-time winner here. And as they come through the first turn, everyone maintains position with Mario leading Michael, followed by Roberto Guerrero, and then Bobby Rahal.
Rahal, again, is not set up for the first part of the race. He's a little bit loose. The back end of the car doesn't want to be as stable as he'd like it to be. So he's just going to maintain, try to get to that first pit stop and make some kind of adjustment.
We talk about adjustments, Tom Steva, as we take a look over the right shoulder of Bobby Rahal as he accelerates and comes up to full speed on this course. These are tremendous pictures. This is that very flat turn. They call it the Milwaukee turn. It's so flat.
It really is. It's real tough to get into. The car actually feels better once you get to the apex, but getting in, the back end wants to jump out a little bit, and you can hear him de-accelerating getting into that corner.
So we look for a pass now as Roberto Guerrero tries to hold off Rahal. He can hold him off in turn 2, but can he hold him off for the rest of the circuit? The fight is for 3rd place. You're on board with Bobby Rahal now. That's Roberto Guerrero, car number 4 just ahead. Rahal is deep blood red number 1 as he chases him down for the 2nd turn. They come into the high banking there. And still it is Rahal that is in pursuit. But he can't really close on Roberto Guerrero.
Well, I don't know if he can't, Paul, or he doesn't want to. It's early in the race. He's just biding time right now. He doesn't want to do anything real crazy. He is not real concerned about leading at this point and taking care of equipment.
Well, there you see the leaders. Mario Andretti, followed by Michael, then Roberto Guerrero, Bobby Rahal, and Rick Mears. As they come down the main straight, will Rahal try it again in this turn? No, he seems satisfied just to let it go. So Mario Andretti has led from the green flag at the Quaker State 500 at Pocono. Makes his move on Roberto Guerrero, and he gets past. That's the first time, Tom Steva, that we have seen a pass back on that 2nd turn. Pretty gutsy move.
It really is, and Bobby must be a lot happier with the chassis. What you're able to do is adjust the handling from the cockpit, and the first few laps it wasn't right, but with that Lola, he's able to adjust it through his adjustments in the cockpit, and now he's got the car working better, felt comfortable, and went on by.
I really have to say, that's a surprise to me. It seems that everyone here really wants to make the move in the first turn. That's where Bobby Rahal, you're watching on board now, is approaching now. But there, he made the move on the 2nd turn, which has always been tough. They've always bounced over it, and some of the drivers said it's not a 2-abreast turn anymore.
For sure, it's not 2 abreast. That's a turn where you have to hit your apex just right. If you miss it by a little bit, it could be dangerous, and, you know, other corners, if you miss the apex, it might slow you up a little bit, but in this case, it could be trouble.
We look at the fight now for 4th place as Roberto Guerrero now has to withstand the charge of Rick Mears. Mears in that bright yellow number 8. is now closing down, and I'm not sure which it is. Is it Roberto falling back? Is it Mears coming forward?
Well, it looks like Roberto might be having a little handling problems at this point. Bobby was able to get on by Mears. You see, is closing the gap down the front straightaway. He's going to make a move here shortly. So it might be Roberto that's having some kind of handling problem that he needs to wait for that adjustment.
It's the fight for fourth place here at Pocono. This 2.5-mile tri-oval, 3 corners. 3 distinctly different corners, which means you really have to work to set the car up. And this, like so many of the road races, it's really not just the driver. It is definitely what the crew, the engineers, the aerodynamicists, what they can all do for you. As Rick Mears fights for 4th place, trying to catch the 4th place car of Roberto Guerrero.
Well, you know, Paul, this sport is definitely a team sport. You depend on a lot of different aspects. And unlike other team sports, you also depend on the equipment. The variables there are just infinite. So it's a tough sport, and these teams have to do their homework in all areas to be competitive all day long.
Top 5 positions alone on the main straightaway now. Mario Andretti is still the leader. Michael Andretti is 2nd place. This appears to be an Andretti track. As we watch, looking back, Jeff Brabham is pulling alongside A.J. Foyt. This is a battle for 7th place. Brabham tried to get on the inside there, and here he comes. He's on the long pond straight, going for turn 2, trying to get the grand champion.
Well, that's a good pass. If you get down low, you can get around that corner coming off a lot better. If you let it slip up like A.J. did, sometimes the car will start pushing or understeering, and you can't get off that corner as fast as you'd like.
Interesting contrast in power there. The Brabham car has that Honda racing engine, one that they really have a great deal of hope for, and we are told that we can expect a major announcement shortly for one of the really big teams to suddenly show up with Honda power. It's working very well for Jeff.
It really is, and they've come a long way with that Honda engine. We're seeing a lot more variety in the engines in the IndyCar Series right now. Porsche's starting to come on, but they've done a good job with the Honda, and it appears to be showing its stuff right now.
Now A.J. Foyt has to hold off the charge of Emerson Fittipaldi as they come down into the first third. This is a battle for 8th place. We're back 8 positions deep. A.J. Foyt currently 8th, and Fittipaldi is trying to get him.
It looks like A.J. must be a little bit loose because he can run that higher groove a little bit better than anybody else. Usually if you're up that high, it's because you're having a loose handling car instead of an understeering car.
Chassis and engine battle here as Fittipaldi comes around Foyt. The March Chevrolet, Fittipaldi's car, that number 20 machine, and the Cosworth-powered Lola. Now, many of the teams say that Lola seems better suited to these high-speed tracks.
It appears as though the Lola's a little more aerodynamically. It gets even better fuel mileage, indicating again that it's a little slipperier than the March chassis. So that's an advantage that they have on the high-speed tracks.
Now setting up behind A.J. Foyt is Arie Luyendyk. He has never won an IndyCar race, and he is beginning to do battle with a man in the person of Foyt that is driving in his 316th IndyCar race. So Luyendyk, car number 71, now sets up behind Foyt. The battle is for 9th.
Again, A.J. can't keep the car down on the bottom. That's the fast way around, but he must be a little bit loose. He can't pinch the car down low. It lets the other guys have that lower groove down in turn 1, and that's, again, the fast way to get around this racetrack.
Talked with A.J. in his garage the other day. He said that the car was absolutely terrible when it first arrived here. They worked with it. They finally got it to qualify well. Foyt qualified in 7th quick. He seemed happy with it, but now, obviously, he is still having to fight with it a bit.
Well, A.J., it's tough to make him happy. He's been around a long time. He knows what the car should and shouldn't do, and, you know, he's not happy all the time by any means.
And lining up now behind Arie Luyendyk in 11th place is Pancho Carter. Now, we expected Pancho to do very well here, and he is beginning to make his move as well. So there is A.J. Foyt running in 9th, followed by Arie Luyendyk and Pancho Carter just behind. Carter started in 15th. He's moved up 5 positions. Let's go down to the pits in Sally Larvick.
3-time Indy winner Johnny Rutherford out of his race clothes into his street clothes. Johnny, we didn't want to see you this early in the race. What happened?
Well, it was one of those things down in turn 1 where this on the start, everybody's closely bunched. I don't know whether Brayton was just loose or what was going on, but his car jumped sideways in front of me. I mean, dead sideways in front of me, and I turned right and had him missed with the front, and evidently he let it go, or his car was sliding on up, and his rear made contact with my left rear and spun me around up into the guardrail and did the damage. It just, you know, without any bad luck, I guess we wouldn't have any luck at all.
Thanks, JR. You're all right. Back to you, Paul.
Johnny Rutherford, who still holds the race record here at Pocono from his victory in 1974, but no records for Johnny Rutherford today. Here comes Michael putting a run on his dad. Can he get him in the first turn? No, the dad shuts the door on him, and Michael is forced way high. Now they have some backmarker traffic in front of him.
Well, Michael's forced way high because Mario took the air away from the front of the car, and you lose the downforce in the front, and the thing won't turn. That's what happens to Michael, but he'll be back up. They're closing up in traffic here.
Coming for the second turn, that sort of thing will really make your heart beat faster when you suddenly realize it's not gripping at all and it's going for the outside.
That does
Michael closes in. That's Jose Garza just ahead of him. The 2 leaders string pass. Nope, not here. It's not going to happen here. Michael Andretti's going to line up, try to get a good run off of the third turn.
He really will, but he might have got messed up a little bit by Jose, but it's only going to be a lap or so. It looks like Michael is operating through the corners very well.
So Michael Andretti once again tries a run on his father. He comes to the inside. They both come around Derek Daly. Now they're side by side, and once again Mario says, kid, you're not going to do it here.
No, again, it's tough to run close in the corners because of the air problem in the car behind, and Michael will just have to get a better run on him down the straightaway without traffic.
Family feud in the Andretti family for the lead at the Quaker State 500 as Michael continues to chase his father, and Mario has led right from the green flag.
Mario just got held up by traffic there and gave Michael a run on him right there.
Michael gets him as Michael comes past Mario, and Michael Andretti picks up the lead. Now, can he hold it all the way around to the starting line and be scored as the leader of this race? They come off the third turn, and Michael Andretti sees the starting line first for the first time in the Quaker State 500. It is Michael Andretti that is leading. His father drops to second, followed by Ray Hall, Guerrero, and Mears. We'll be back. We're back at the Quaker State 500 as we watch Bobby Rahal move around Mario Andretti and pick up second place. Mario passed just a few moments ago by his son Michael. Now, Bobby Rahal just cleanly blew him away.
He really did. Interesting combination. Both Lolas, but we got a Chevrolet in one and a Ford Cosworth in the other. So Bobby's going on.
The question that one now has to ask, is Mario just being bright here? Has he decided, I'm going to lay back, I'm going to let this engine breathe and work a little bit? Remember that car has failed while in the lead at 2 other 500-mile races, the only other 2 this year.
Well, it has, but I don't think Mario is the type that lays back. He knows how hard he can push the car, and if he can lead comfortably, he would be doing so, just like he did the other 500. So he's not happy with something at this point.
The leader, Michael Andretti, car number 18, jumped around his father just a few laps ago, and then Bobby Rahal also got around Mario Andretti, so Mario is now back in third place. Rick Mears runs in fourth, followed by Roberto Guerrero. Al Unser is running in sixth place, followed by Jeff Brabham. Let's go down to Mario Andretti's pit and Gary Gerald.
Paul, we understand that when Mario comes in a few laps for his first pit stop, the car's gone real loose. They'll change 3 tires, and out here on the pit wall, you can see the man working with the wrench that'll be used at the nose wing. They're going to change the angle of the attack, try to stabilize the handling of the car. That'll be critical for Mario on his first stop coming up shortly.
Michael Andretti is the leader. Bobby Rahal, you're on board his car right now. Riding in second place, Mario Andretti runs in third, and we should be just a few moments away from pit stops, and they'll come into the green.
They are, Bobby. Bobby is obviously low on fuel. You can see the light blink on a little bit.
Roberto Guerrero tries to get it stopped as he rolls into his pits. The right front wheel locked several times. He couldn't get that car stopped. They had to grab him and drag him back. So now the Vince Granatelli crew goes to work on that car, trying to get Roberto Guerrero back into action. He's had a terrible time with pit stops so far this year.
They really have. And with the uneven pit road, it makes it a little tougher for the crew.
Now we're on board with Bobby Rahal, who does much the same. He locks the wheels up coming into the pits and slides past his pits. Bobby Rahal slid past his pits and rolls back out. He's got to go around, but here's your leader, Michael Andretti, as he makes his routine stop as well. You can see Rahal's fuel warning light flashing on, and the question is whether or not he'll make it all the way around. For Michael Andretti, Barry Green and the green team, they go to work on that car, and it's routine. But Michael idles away low. Makes us think of the Michigan 500 where he couldn't get out of the pits fast. He's still rolling very slowly. Looks like it's a repeat of the same problem, Tom Steva.
Very well could be. It looks like he's got it going again, but again, a problem getting out of the pit. Same thing at Michigan.
One of 2 questions. Is that just a problem with the engine not coming up to speed with low revolutions, or is it a clutch and gear problem?
It could be either one of those 2, but it also could be a low on fuel situation. A lot of times you'll come in and get fuel, but it's still almost out and it won't pick up.
Here we are again with Bobby Rahal as he comes in. Let's go to the pits and Gary Gerald.
Mario Andretti hits his spot right on target. He radioed just before he came in, we understand, forget adjustments to the nose wing. So it's 3 tires. They leave the left front on. Everything else is changed. Down off the jacks. Mario in 13 and a half seconds. A sensational stop. The defending champ is away.
Mario Andretti, as we see Rick Mears also making his stop, and Bobby Rahal now pulls away after that disastrous extra lap. There is Rick Mears currently in second place. There is Bobby Rahal, re-rolls out of the pits. Rick Mears hits the throttle, lights him up, and heads out as well. And Mario Andretti left the pits as the leader. The question is, can he hold on to the lead all the way around? Michael Andretti made his stop. Rick Mears made his stop. So everyone in the leader serial, as we take a look at Michael Andretti back up to speed, the first set of stops at the Quaker State 500 made under the green flag. So a flurry of pit stops, and the crews really earn their bucks here at the Quaker State 500. We'll be back right after this. And Jeff McPherson, car number 11, involved in an accident coming off of the third and final turn, and also involved Bobby Rahal. You can see he's trying to signal desperately, get a hook on me and get me going. It doesn't appear the car is damaged, but he stopped dead at the entrance to the pits.
He did. He's obviously involved with McPherson's problem up there. Somehow the car quit on him because of the problem with McPherson's accident in the middle of the racetrack. So he needs a tow at this point, and he's in a hurry.
Michael and Mario Andretti sort their way through while we are under yellow here at the Quaker State 500. But a situation involving Jeff McPherson coming off of the third turn. And the car badly damaged, sitting in the middle of the track, but Jeff jumped out of the car and appeared to be in good shape. So our second yellow of the day here at the Quaker State 500. We're watching Michael Andretti, car number 18. He took the lead away from his father, and then with the pit stops, he had a good stop, but they've dropped him back in the leader serial for just a moment. And some cars had a definite advantage with this yellow because there were some that did not stop prior to the yellow, one of those being Jeff Brabham. So apparently he got a good stop. Let's go back to the pits and Gary.
Here they change now on the right front only. Remember, he had overshot his pit on the first time, then got in for routine service, so it's fresh tires. But in that incident, they elect now to change the right front. He's off the jacks. Now he gets back out. But Bobby Rahal lost a lot of time, even though we're under the yellow.
Bobby Rahal had to sit dead on the racetrack for some time. Finally, the crews got over and got him going. Of course, the crew's first concern was that of Jeff McPherson. Was he okay? So Michael Andretti just won his first 500-mile race. Let's take a personal look. 70 miles due east of the Pocono Mountains, on a hill overlooking the small town of Nazareth, sits the home of Michael and Sandy Andretti. It is here that this racing couple finds refuge from the notoriety the name Andretti brings. Married just a few years ago, after being childhood sweethearts, Sandy especially has learned to cope with her husband's unpredictable profession.
I'm not a fan of racing. I never really was. I just got interested in it because that's Michael's love. And I had to. I had no choice but to back him up in what he wanted to do.
Michael has known what he wanted to do since he was 7 years old, and has in recent years added some pretty significant memorabilia to his collection.
Well, I'd say probably my Long Beach trophy is very special, and also winning Rookie of the Year at Indy special. You know, it's right now we just got them all cluttered here because I'll be moving them up to my house, so just got them all shoved in the corner here.
Here is his father, Mario's house. A close-knit family, the Andrettis live only 2 miles apart. All of the Andretti men have a love for high-tech machines. In fact, they keep a garage full of performance toys. Michael is a study in contrast, from his pickup truck to his British Lagonda sedan. Whatever he drives, Michael has always been quick. From this, his first Formula Ford ride, with Sandy even then at his side, to the Indy cars, and his first 500-mile race victory just 2 weeks ago at Michigan International Speedway. Now second in the points, Michael looks to the future.
Well, I signed a 2-year contract with Craco at the end of 86, so I know I'll be doing it in 88 anyway. 89, I think I'd seriously look at Formula One.
But for this day, this well-disciplined mind is tightly focused on the Pocono Tri-Oval. And Michael Andretti right now is focused on a possible clutch problem. Here are our leaders under the yellow, Emerson Fittipaldi and Jeff Brabham. Up at the top of the serial, then the two Andrettis, and then Rick Mears as we watch Michael work his way around this Tri-Oval, worrying desperately about the clutch in his car and will it be able to engage as they come off a stop. This is a little bit earlier now. It is Bobby Rahal that was chasing through the field and trying to get his way up to the front again, and Jeff McPherson lost control coming off of the third turn. A little bit earlier, Tom Sneva.
Yeah, Bobby, no problem. Getting into 3, a very flat corner, so you got to be very precise with the steering wheel. All of a sudden, he sees trouble in front of him. He's just doing avoidance maneuver, trying to stay out of the problem, but again, a little miscue, a little bit too sudden of a jerk on the wheel, and he spins the car around.
And in doing so, he killed the engine. It took a long time before he could get a tow back to the pits because they were worried about Jeff McPherson, who, by the way, is all right. He was not injured. And Bobby Rahal is back in the action, but he is well down in the order now, running in 16th place. The leader is CART 20, Emerson Fittipaldi. Second place is Jeff Brabham. And Mario and Michael Andretti are running in third and fourth. The green flag flies again. Emerson Fittipaldi responds and accelerates. Heading down for the turn, we watch Mario Andretti making a run on his son, Michael. That is a battle for third place, as Mario tries to get Michael in that crowded traffic down in turn 1.
A lot of traffic in 1. Foyt right in front of him. Michael down low. It looks like he could get a run on AJ off this corner.
Mario Andretti decides the high side is better. He tucks in right behind AJ Foyt's machine. Michael Andretti sits right there. Foyt is running 10th right now. This is really a battle for third place. Michael has third at the moment as Mario Andretti at the back of his car tries to take it away from Michael.
Dad looked at the outside going through the tunnel turn, but he knew wiser. That's a tough place to try to pass. He didn't want to upset or scare Michael and surprise him.
They're both right behind A.J. Foyt, 1 lap down, running in 10th place. You also got a glimpse there. There you see it now. The 30 car, Al Unser Jr., is back in the action after that problem in the early going. Emerson Fittipaldi, car 20, is first. He is being followed by the 15 car of Jeff Brabham. Fittipaldi has won at 500 miles, the Michigan 500 1 year ago. Jeff Brabham, 4 seconds in his career. He's never won an IndyCar race, though he has been at the front so often.
He really has, and he's doing a good job. You know, he's just being replaced by Al Unser Jr. for next year in that team, and, you know, maybe he's got something to prove here today, Paul.
Well, at the moment, he doesn't have a ride for next year, so a win here would be wonderful for Jeff Brabham. Michael Andretti, currently third. Fourth place is his father, Mario. There's Mario chasing right behind him. But the leader is CART 20, and that is Emerson Fittipaldi. We'll be back with more of the Quaker State 500. This is Mario Andretti, and Rick Mears is on the charge as Mears comes around Mario Andretti and picks up third place. So Rick Mears, who would really love to win this race, this was where he scored his last victory 2 years ago. First time in Rick's career that he's gone scoreless for a year, and now he's charging his way up through that field again.
Yeah, and it's in the 86, Paul. It's a car that maybe is as good or better than the 87 March on these high-speed ovals.
Rick Mears, this is the car that he really likes. It is powered by Chevrolet, though, and that has been a question mark, though. Chevrolet at the Michigan 500 finished 500 miles, the first time that Chevrolet has actually done so. So a question mark in the power plant, but Rick Mears' hands firmly on the controls. He's coming around Bobby Rahal there, but remember, Rahal with that early spin is well down in the order, currently running 14th, and he is 2 laps off the pace. But as we look at onboard camera from Bobby Rahal's car, as Rick Mears comes around, Jose Garza just ahead. There you see Mears come to the inside of Garza. Spectacular view.
It's a great shot. Rick obviously used the draft off of Jose to get on by. Bobby's going by now. This is tunnel turn. I'm not sure where Jose at, but he's got to have a handful right there.
Well, in doing that, Bobby Rahal picks up 13th place, so taking the advantage of that sudden pass by Rick Mears, he is able to take advantage of it and get past Garza as well. So Rahal moving his way up. Car 20, that's your leader, Emerson Fittipaldi, the two-time world driving champion.
You can see he's running a little bit lower now in turn 1. As the race develops, that groove will go down lower and lower, and these guys will be dragging tires in the grass before this race is over.
Emerson Fittipaldi out in front at the Quaker State 500 at Pocono. Michael Andretti is trying to make back-to-back 500-mile race wins. He won at Michigan 2 weeks ago. Rick Mears now lies in third, and Mario Andretti has dropped back into fourth. Jeff Brabham, who was up as far as second, has dropped back into fifth place.
Yeah, Jeff's been doing a good job. He got caught in traffic a couple times, and now he's back just a little bit.
So at the Quaker State 500, look at the tremendous lead that Emerson Fittipaldi has. That's Fittipaldi, car 20 at the bottom of your screen. And the car just behind him, but well back, a full 3.5 seconds, is Michael Andretti, car number 18. The leader is running about 190.5 miles an hour, though the pace for the first 100 miles, well off that of the record because of 2 yellow flags. They've been averaging about 131 miles an hour to this point. But as we watch Emerson Fittipaldi, he's running in the 190s right now.
That's a little faster than I thought they'd be going right now, Paul. I was expecting something in the 180s, mid-180s to be race speed. So Emo's got the car working very well right now.
One of the prettiest days we've seen, the 17-race history of Pocono, as we watch Michael Andretti, the second-place car. He's on the pit road and heading for service. Remember, he had trouble with this car earlier. Michael Andretti, the car comes up on the jacks. Let's go to Sally Larvik.
Michael Andretti, as we mentioned, he had a clutch problem earlier. Barry Green said all he's going to do is try to get him in and out as fast as he can. They're changing 3 tires, the 2 on the right side, the left rear. Michael Andretti is down, and he's off. They're pushing him, and there he goes, and he's out of the pits, and Michael Andretti is away.
His father, Mario, is in the pits as well. He was fourth when he came rolling in for this stop. Michael Andretti, once again, having a terrible time rolling away from the pits. Look at this. Michael can't get it rolling. That is Mario on the charge coming out. Now it finally catches for Michael. It's still not running at full bore, and Mario is coming just as fast as he can. As we are watching pit stops under the green flag, these are all routine. Emerson Fittipaldi is the leader, and there goes Mario Andretti picking up speed. His son Michael having just a horrible time with his stop.
Well, that's going to be a key later on in the race. If these pit stops all come under the green, we're going to have trouble with Michael.
Here's Rick Mears, the second-place car now as a result of the pit stop of Michael Andretti. Rick Mears, the Penske crew, goes to work on the car. Emerson Fittipaldi has not stopped. Again, precision by Penske. Peter Parrott and that crew get that car in and out just as fast as they can. One beautiful stop. There comes Rick Mears rolling on the pit exit, and Emerson Fittipaldi is the question now. He is the leader of the race. And he comes around across the starting line one more time. Fittipaldi appears to be getting a little better mileage, or else the Patrick team is a little braver than everyone else.
He is getting better mileage, and that's surprising because the Chevrolet makes a little more horsepower, and horsepower takes fuel, so theoretically he shouldn't be going quite as far if he's got that power.
This car is a March. It is powered by a Chevrolet, and we anticipate this stop by Fittipaldi just any moment now. He can't go that much further. This is a big circuit, 2.5 miles around. So every lap that he turns beyond them, he is really putting mileage down on the rest of the field. Most of the other leaders have made their stops. Roberto Guerrero came in for fuel and tires. Mario Andretti's stop was for 21 seconds for fuel and tires. Rick Mears was in and out in 15 seconds. Michael Andretti with that very troublesome clutch took 21 seconds before he really started rolling, and then he was rolling very slowly as he left the pit exit. In fact, Michael dropped all the way back to 5th place from second during that stop. But here's the man of the moment, Emerson Fittipaldi. He leads the Quaker State 500, and he is due for a pit stop just any time.
The crew should be indicating to him that all the other leaders or contenders in the race have already made their stop. They can't afford to gamble at this point. They're getting better mileage, so he should be in any time.
Well, that Patrick team is extremely good at the tactics of the race at this point. They're very good at 500-milers. They really know when to bring the car in, when to cycle it in and out, and how to get it done. And at the moment, they say, Emerson Fittipaldi, bring it into the pits. Gary Robinsini, the crew chief, and the crew is ready. Let's go down there and Gary Gerald.
Well, here's the former two-time world champion right on the spot in car number 20. The Marlboro pillars being serviced, 3 tires, fuel, everything appears to be routine. He's been one of the hottest drivers in recent weeks in the CART PPG IndyCar Series, and right now he's waiting to get away. He does so in 16 seconds flat.
Classic pit stop for the Patrick team. We're now on the Penske Soaring stand as Fittipaldi rolls away. That was Karen Unser you saw just a moment ago, keeping track of the progress of her husband, Al Unser, who currently runs in 7th. There's Al's son, of course, Al Jr., out of the race. His electrical problems taking his day away. So Jeff Brabham, this car, number 15, picks up the lead. He does so as a result of that stop by Emerson Fittipaldi. Honda power here, and it appears that the Honda's getting the best mileage of all.
Well, we indicated that earlier, and it's still the case, but he's got to be due here shortly.
So, in fact, he is. There at Jeff Brabham. Good prediction, Tom Sneva. As he rolls down to the pits, the Gallus crew is ready with the Valvoline car to make its stop. And Jeff brings it in right on the mark as the leader of the race. Fittipaldi dropped back to 2nd. And again, this looks routine. 3 tires are being changed. Fuel, 40 gallons of methanol fuel pouring into the car. Jeff Brabham takes a cool drink of water, throws the bottle back over the wall. Comes off the clutch a little bit early. The car wasn't quite on the ground yet. Routine across the board.
Routine, but the pit lane is very rough here, and you're accelerating out. It's hard on the drivetrain, hard on the axles, hard on the gearbox. So guys got to be careful, especially under green flag type stops, that he's not too hard on the equipment leaving that pit lane.
Michael Andretti in 4th place, being chased by his father Mario, and Emerson Fittipaldi has the lead once again. We'll be back. Back at the Quaker State 500 as Mario Andretti now challenges his son Michael for 3rd place. Tom Sneva, these two continue to hack at one another. Now, they are 2 different teams, but they are, after all, a family. Is it wise?
Well, I'm not sure. This stage in the race, they're running at each other pretty hard, and it's wear and tear in both the equipment and the mental state of the father and son combination here.
Well, Mario Andretti, that bright red, the yellow number 5. Michael Andretti, car number 18. He currently occupies 2nd. The leader up ahead is Emerson Fittipaldi. Rick Mears is in 2nd place in his bright yellow number 8. There you see Michael Andretti as he comes onto the main stretch. Now, this is where the key moves are almost always set up. Mario Andretti sits just behind him, watches very carefully. That's Jeff Brabham closing down. Brabham runs in 5th place just behind this fight. And Mario hauls it way down low.
Just like we mentioned earlier, the track gets smaller and smaller. You got to get somewhere where they haven't been running, and so Mario's working real good right down on the grass.
So Michael Andretti, that's A.J. Foyt in 12th place, just ahead. 180 miles complete. We've had 5 different leaders of the race with 6 changes. The average speed well down because of the 2 yellow flags. And Michael Andretti comes by A.J. Foyt. That's, of course, just picking up the lap car. Foyt running in 12th place. And now Michael is able to separate himself just a bit, and Mario has now to contend with A.J. He comes to the inside.
Notice that dainty little sweep by of Mario's. He's in a hurry.
And Jeff Brabham is actually in this fight as well, running in 5th place. And keep an eye on this battle. There goes Mario as A.J. Foyt comes a little high and lets Mario come through. And Mario now comes into a position to re-engage his son Michael in the fight for 3rd.
Well, that's where it's at right now, the battle on the racetrack, father and son. Looks like Michael's working a little bit better across the tunnel turn. Mario's a little bit quicker down the straightaway, so it makes for a close competition.
Again, we're looking at a contrast in machines. We're looking at a March powered by a Cosworth and that yellow and blue number 18 of Michael Andretti. And we're looking at a Lola powered by a Chevrolet and Mario Andretti's red number 5.
Well, the Lola, again, is very, very aerodynamic. And maybe Mario's just giving son some room. They don't need to run that close this stage in the race. And Mario is saying to himself, hey, let's lay back a little bit. Give me that clean air. Cool things down, and we'll go after him here a little bit later.
Now, both of them handle the 14th place car, number 55 of Jose Legarza, who is running now 3 laps off of the leader pace. Emerson Fittipaldi is the leader, and he's setting a very fast pace indeed, over 190 miles an hour. Rick Mears lies in 2nd place. Then that battle for 3rd between Mario and Michael, and Jeff Brabham runs in 5th.
Well, again, Emo's running a lot quicker than I thought they'd run out here. They've done something. They tested a couple days after the Michigan last race, and they've learned some stuff, and now they're going to the front.
Boy, Emo just blasted his teammate, Kevin Kogan, away, and those are two, for all practical purposes, identical machines.
Yeah, I don't know. Kevin's obviously having some kind of problem. Either the motor's not running quite as well, or he's not getting around the corner. One or the other, and it's hard to tell from this point.
Now, despite this rather furious pace by Emerson Fittipaldi, the real key in the Quaker State 500 at Pocono is to keep the car alive. Not only on the track, Tom Sneva, but we're talking a very rough pit road.
Well, we are, and it could be a factor later, especially if they're green flag stops where you have to hustle the car in and out of the pits. It's very rough, hard on the drivetrain. The axles unload and load up. It's hard in the gearboxes, so the driver's got to use his head, and sometimes later in the race under a green situation, the adrenaline's flowing and you don't use your head as much as you need to.
All right, let's go down to the Patrick Racing pits. This report comes from Gary Gerald.
Pat Patrick, of course, is the owner of the team that has Emerson Fittipaldi in the lead. Pat, you've had those victories on the road courses. Now you're going for the one in the oval. Are you happy with this race pace, which is now settled down into the mid-180 range?
Well, we're happy the way we're running, but keep in mind, Jerry, this is a 500-mile race, and we just happen to be in the lead right now, and this is subject to change every lap.
Any superstitions in this pit, Pat?
No, I've been racing too long. I'm not superstitious.
Happy to be in the lead, Pat Patrick, with Emerson Fittipaldi out front.
And there you take a look at Emerson Fittipaldi, who with his pace has lined up just in front of him the 8th place car of Pancho Carter and the 7th place car of Big Al Unser. So he is really working his way up through the field, and if he gets past those, then we're only going to see the top 6 cars running on the leader lap.
Yeah, that's unusual this early in the race, but Emo's setting a tough pace. Here's a guy that comes from a road racing background, and they say this oval is probably as close to a road race, a high-speed road race as we're going to find because of the differences in the corners.
You got that view of Pat Patrick. There is a race tactician. He really knows how to set the strategy. That's a tactical operations center down in that pit. They have won races by figuring out exactly how to get it done and how to stop the car and when to get it in and out. Now we watch Fittipaldi as he makes the move inside Pancho Carter. Carter is running 8th place. Nice and easy. Pancho hangs in there. He really doesn't want to give up that lap. And just ahead is the Indianapolis 500 champion, Al Unser Sr. He's currently running 7th.
That's true, and Al's hanging in there better than he did at the Speedway. Indianapolis, he was lapped in the 19th lap, but came back to win the race. So this race is not over by any means.
The key to a 500 mile is what we just mentioned. It's strategy, it's tactics, it's knowing when to bring the car in, when not to go quite as fast.
Well, that's a big part of it. Just there's so many elements to win a race, and especially a 500-miler. Tacticians are an important factor. Running all day is the first key, however.
So Emerson Fittipaldi leads. Rick Mears is second, and we'll be back. What's the status?
Spin.
Mario Andretti loses it coming off the first turn and slams the wall. The yellow light flashes on as Mario Andretti really smacks it hard. Tom Stevens, he'd been running low and it just got away from him.
He really did. It's a little rough getting in, and he might have got down a little bit lower earlier, and that got him in trouble because it got loose getting into the corner, and then he was just further right.
Mario stays in the car. He really caught that wall a lick. It was just a quick 360 and then got up into the wall. And it's an ideal time for the leaders to come into the pits as the yellow flag flies. In fact, there he is. Emerson Fittipaldi jumps into the pits. Also the second place car of Rick Mears. So 1 and 2 take advantage of this yellow flag. They are both in the pits. And there you see the crews. Mario Andretti is moving around in that cockpit. And the Patrick team now, not as fast as they have to be. They're just going to take it nice and easy on this stop. Emerson Fittipaldi rolls, and will Fittipaldi get past Mears? He does. Move around Rick Mears as they come out of the pits, and the yellow flag flies because of an incident in the first turn with Mario Andretti.
Again, Mario having trouble getting into the corner. As the cars get low on fuel, they start to become a little bit looser, and so that might have snuck up on him along with the track conditions. Combination of low fuel, getting down low on the racetrack, and it surprised him.
The Horton safety team now crawling all over that number 5 car and helping Mario Andretti. But the car really took a lick. He was probably within 3 or 4 laps of his next scheduled pit stop. And the defending champion here at the Quaker State 500 is now in his car receiving medical and fire and safety attention. As we take a look at it again, Tom Sneva, let's try and decide what happened to Mario Andretti.
Well, Mario, he's in pretty tight, so he might be losing some of the air from the car because of Michael right there in front of him. But again, you can see how low Mario is on the racetrack, down underneath the line pretty early. Again, it's rough down there. He gets into the white stuff, the thing wants to jump sideways, and finally he loses it, then up into the wall. Fortunately, he hits pretty parallel to the wall. I mean, both left side tires hit about the same time, and that cushions the blow.
Second nasty-looking accident of the year for Mario Andretti. The first one at Milwaukee when his rear wing, came off the back of the car, sending him not into one wall but 2. And now he's involved in an accident again. And they continue to work over that car. Mario Andretti is not yet out of the machine, but we did see him move, and we saw him talking to his rescuers. We'll be back right after this. We're back at the Quaker State 500. This is Paul Page with Tom Sneva, Gary Gerald, and Sally Larvick. And Mario Andretti is out of that car after a quick spin and then slamming the wall with one side of the machine.
You saw Mario walk into the emergency vehicle there, and that's a good sign because, you know, there's not much room in the front of these cars, and when they take a lick, you might not be hurt, but sometimes you get trapped in there, and we need more room at the front of these cars.
Of course, what they do with the rescue is always take their time to make sure that they don't injure the driver. Let's go to the pits, Gary Gerald.
Paul, a very somber pit crew down here, huddled now, meeting around Tyler Alexander. They tell us that Mario radioed after the impact that he was still in the cockpit, as you saw, and that it was his left shoulder that was causing him some difficulty or pain. That's an area where he was hurt, of course, in the upper vertebrae and that impact that he had several weeks ago at Milwaukee. That's their concern, but of course, you heard Tom indicating he was able to get out of the car, and certainly the crew is encouraged to hear that, but again, very, very disappointed. They just can't seem to shake the tough luck that has plagued them event after event this season.
And of course, the left side of the car is the one that took the shot into the wall, so double jeopardy for Mario Andretti. And there is his son, Michael. Our indication is that he was very worried after he came by the first time. He saw the car, saw the stretcher. He was worried about his father. Of course, Tom Sneva, they have radio communications with the car, Michael Andretti, and they can report on Mario's condition by radio and let him know that Dad's okay. There comes Michael past the ambulance, wondering about the condition of his father. As we take a look at those cars out of the race so far, that first lap accident taking Scotty Brayton and Johnny Rutherford. Dale Coyne comes out on lap 9. Al Unser Jr. suffering actually 2 different electrical problems. The second one finally taking the car out. Tony Bettenhausen retired. Dick Simon had a broken right wrist. Didn't expect that he would go that far in the race. And then, of course, the accident with Jeff McPherson. And now this yellow flag with Mario Andretti.
Well, again, only 2 accidents so far. 2 spins based on the roughness of the racetrack probably being a factor. But not bad, really, for this point in the race.
The medical crews reporting that Mario is complaining about pain in that right shoulder, and he is, though, walked to the ambulance. Let's take a look again. Michael is just in front of his father in car number 5.
Again, Mario looking for a spot, looking for some clean air, can't find it. He's down low on the racetrack, very, very low. That combined with the white stuff on the racetrack that low, he loses the car. He almost caught it a couple times, but loses it, and then again into the left side fairly hard, knocks the left front off, slides to a fairly gentle ending, and no traffic, thank God, close by behind him.
Initial reports are Mario's okay. There's one of his other car owners, Paul Newman, who is extremely concerned as well. Carl Harris, Paul Newman owned the car. That's Mario Ilium, was just off to the right for a moment there, who is the designer on the engine, that Chevrolet Elmore racing engine in his car. And let me assure you, Paul Newman takes this very seriously. I've watched him several times when Mario's gotten into trouble, and he's beside himself with concern for his driver. Now he's waiting for official reports as that Newman Haas Lola is on the hook, badly damaged and being pulled back into the paddock area. Paul Newman, very concerned. Emerson Fittipaldi, still our leader. That is Mario Andretti's first crash here at Pocono since 1974. Let's go to the pits. Sally Larvick.
Mario Andretti is in this ambulance right behind me. Our understanding is that they're only bringing him here for observation, that it's not serious. We'll have to wait and get a direct report from the doctor. As he was passing, I could see through the window that he was sitting up and he was talking to those around him. So apparently not a serious situation for Mario Andretti, but we'll have to wait for the official word, Paul.
Let's hope, Sally, that it did not aggravate that already injured shoulder on Mario Andretti. He was complaining when he climbed into the ambulance of some pain there. And this man, car 18, Michael Andretti, now running in third, really has to be concerned about his father, though I'm sure that during the yellow flag they have given him a full and complete report on the condition of his father. Emerson Fittipaldi now sees the green flag with Rick Mears in second place, Michael Andretti in third, Roberto Guerrero in fourth, and we're back to racing as we near the halfway point in the Quaker State 500. Here comes Bobby Rahal to the inside. Now remember, Rahal is well off the pace, 2 laps behind the leader, but he still would love to pick up some laps on everyone else.
Well, Bobby is not exactly off the pace. He's running about the same speed as the leaders, but he got down a couple laps because of the spin earlier, so he needs some yellows to try to make those back.
They come onto that long straight, heading for the second turn now on this tri-oval. During the yellow flag, everybody got the machines refreshed. We're looking at Michael Andretti, and just behind him, there's the number 4 car. That is Roberto Guerrero, currently running in fourth. Jeff Brabham is fifth. Al Unser is now sixth. Back to the leader as Rick Mears closes in behind Emerson Fittipaldi in that number 20 car. And Mears looks like he's going to take a shot.
Well, Rick obviously made some adjustments under the yellow, and he's got the car handling better. He's got to run here. He's down inside of Emo.
Here comes Rick Mears inside Emerson Fittipaldi, and Rick Mears, for the first time this season, picks up the lead of a race in an Indy car. Rick Mears is out in front of the Quaker State 500 as we approach the halfway point. Rick Mears now being chased by Emerson Fittipaldi, but he just brushed Fittipaldi aside.
Well, he really did. They made some adjustments in the pits, obviously, and Rick likes the way the car feels in the corners right now. Obviously, a wing change of some kind has got the car balanced, and he's off and gone.
Rick Mears now, he's been working hard with the Penske PC-16, but they promised him when you get here, Rick, you get to the 500-milers, we're going to let you go into that March car because it was one that he really wanted the opportunity to try. The Penske teams decided, let's work a little bit more with the 16s, give this car to Rick, and look what he's doing with it.
Well, he's done a good job with that car all year. So, you know, when they go to the ovals, Rick gets his first choice of cars. When they go to the road courses, Danny Sullivan's been getting his first choice.
Here's a fight for fourth place. Roberto Guerrero tries to hold off the charging Jeff Brabham. Brabham has been revolving around the front of this race right from the green flag. Pancho Carter pulls up in there as well. So we have a three-way battle for fourth place now as Pancho Carter comes up to challenge Jeff Brabham. And look how easily he does it. Pancho Carter takes Jeff Brabham, moves into fifth place, and now sets his sights on Roberto Guerrero.
Well, Pancho was real quick in practice throughout the weekend, so I was surprised that he didn't make a move quicker in the race.
Now, Pancho Carter, actually, with the separation in that, is 1 lap down. So while we said it was a call for position, it is not that. It's Pancho Carter trying to come through, but that's the position he's fighting for. He's just 2.5 miles behind him.
Well, again, he's got to go to the front, hoping to get up to the leader, maybe get by the leader, catch a yellow, and make a move.
So I think the key factor here is Pancho Carter's pace. As look at him as he comes alongside in a drag race with Roberto Guerrero. Guerrero is fourth. Pancho is trying to get off of that lap and catch up to Guerrero.
Exactly right, but Pancho's working good in the corners. Where he's having troubles down the straightaway, he doesn't quite have as much horsepower as a couple of guys that he's racing against, so they get him on the long back straightaway. He gets the run on him off the corners and tries to make up the difference.
Rick Mears laying laps down in the lead. That's Randy Lewis off the pace in 15th position just behind. And then comes Emerson Fittipaldi, Michael Andretti, second and third place as they come through the first turn as well.
Again, they're all starting to move down low through turns 1. They got to be careful they don't get down too low too early in that corner because that's where Mario had his trouble.
So Emerson Fittipaldi second. Michael Andretti is in third place right now. Jeff Brabham continues to challenge Roberto Guerrero for fourth. Let's go back to the hospital to check on the condition on Mario Andretti. Sally Larvick.
Paul, I'm with Dr. Dave Crippen. What's the situation, Dave?
It appears as if Mario has a shoulder separation on the left, and that appears at this time to be his only injury. He will be evaluated further, but right now that appears to be his only serious injury.
Is this the shoulder that was from the old injury?
This is the shoulder from his old injury.
What's the situation now? You're going to take him to the hospital for x-ray?
He'll be taken to the hospital for x-rays at this point. We don't see any other serious injury at this point.
You talked to him, and
Yes.
other than that, he feels all right?
He feels fine other than that.
Thanks, Dr. Crippen. Paul?
Well, it could be better news. It could be that there was no injury at all, but a shoulder separation is certainly something that Mario can deal with and should not slow his racing down at all, though it ends his day-to-day.
Well, again, the cockpit of the car is so tight that, it's just very difficult to take any kind of contact without feeling a good portion of it.
So we're at the halfway point in the Quaker State 500. Rick Mears is out in front, leading for the first time in an IndyCar race since the Michigan 250 of last year. We'll be back with more right after this. Quaker State 500 as Emerson Fittipaldi just pulled off the pace. He was running in second. Michael Andretti blew by into second place, and Fittipaldi now rolls down toward the pit. Now, I don't know if it was fuel. He really shouldn't be near a fuel stop at this point. He's a good 10 miles away from that. As he rolls into the pits, oh, it's much more.
Yeah, it shouldn't be fuel, obviously. It just turned off on him.
Well, Fittipaldi, they lean over the car. You see, whatever it was so terminal, they didn't even do the precautionary hooking of the fuel hose. Apparently, Fittipaldi says it's gone right now.
Well, obviously they've got that Chevrolet in there, and so everybody first thought, look at the motor end of things and see what happened.
The crew, they walk around the car, take a look. CART official Billy Camphausen looks at the car as well, but they're not concerned with getting that machine back into the action. So Emerson Fittipaldi falls out of second place and into the pits and out of the race. The leader, well, there he is, car number 8, the bright yellow machine of Rick Mears. And he is setting one wonderful pace here. This time it is a March powered by a Chevrolet. And though we've seen the Chevrolet now finish at 500 miles, there are some that say it really hasn't raced to the finish of 500.
Well, it's been both ways. A couple of them finish and a couple of them don't. I'm sure Andretti's team, Mario's team right now is concerned that they know Mario's all right, but they don't know for sure if they've solved their engine problems because the car only ran about half distance.
Well, they say that the engine is blowing in Fittipaldi's car. Let's get the word from Gary Gerald.
Well, you see Emerson Fittipaldi crawling out. He'll be coming over toward the wall. Pat Patrick just confirmed over our left shoulder that it was an engine problem for Emerson. Talking with members of the crew. We'll see if perhaps we can get a word with Emerson now as he comes over. Lee Dykstra is here along with Pat Patrick. Emerson,
We were doing good.
you heard the word from Pat Patrick. We were doing good. You were up there in front, everything working well. Any indication of problem for you?
No, the engine was running well. The car was running beautiful. I had a little too much push. The last set of tires, I was losing some time. But I knew we could recover that and we could dice for the race. I'm really disappointed with that.
There was so much concern by people coming in about the attrition and the roughness of the racetrack. Were those conditions affecting your pace at all today?
No, I think I could stay a very consistent pace. For sure, the track very rough. It's hard on the driver, hard on the equipment, but it was okay.
Emerson Fittipaldi, disappointed, now out of the car. His day at Pocono is complete, unfortunately.
So Rick Mears out in front as Emerson Fittipaldi falls out of second place, and that allows Michael Andretti to come up and occupy second and pull Jeff Brabham. Roberto Guerrero and Al Unser all forward with him. Nice run today for Roberto Guerrero. Now, let's take a look at what would happen in the point standings. Bobby Rahal was the points leader coming into this race, and Rahal is now running 6th place. But with Michael Andretti in second, it seems like it gives an opportunity for Michael Andretti to close up and perhaps even come out of this race head-to-head with Rahal in the PPG points fight. On the main straightaway, Tom Sneva, take us around the lap of Pocono.
Well, Bobby's down the front straightaway. He's going to have to steer the car to the right, up towards the wall as he enters the corner, dive bombing it to the very bottom of the racetrack. Right here, the car loads up. The steering gets very heavy, like it's binding up in the middle of the corner. As you come off the corner, the track flattens out, the steering frees up, you're down the back straightaway. Now your biggest concern is that tunnel turn and the roughness of it. And you know you've got to be precise, you've got to hit the marks, or it ends up in trouble. Again, bouncing over the tunnel turn, off the tunnel turn, heading for 3, a very flat corner here. You've got to get out of the throttle, getting in, no brakes, but get out of the throttle.
And Rick Mears, our leader, as we watch Rahal. There's Rick Mears. the leader of the race, and he comes in, and right behind him, just as it should be, is Michael Andretti. The Penske crew already falls all over that bright yellow machine of Rick Mears. You can see them as they go to work on the car. And this car is the question, the second place machine. Will they be able to get it out with that bad clutch? Well, Rick Mears is out and rolling. 18 seconds, the stop for Rick Mears. They spin the wheels up on the jacks. It doesn't work for Michael. He shakes his head in frustration. The engine is dead. Now can they get it started? Really, they ought to push it, Tom.
They ought to, but I can't believe they weren't ready with the starter to go over the wall.
And the wing came off the car when they did that. So now they're changing the rear wing on the car. Terrible moment for Michael Andretti. They tried a trick. It didn't work.
It didn't work, but it's showing the fatigue on the race car.
Let's go to the pits, Gary Gerald.
I think Tom hit it right on the nose. The first visible sign of fatigue on the race car. The whole rear wing assembly fell off. The crew swarms over it. Last year, Michael had a problem early in the race, went 3 laps down, fought his way back up into the top 3. His disappointment last year, he thought, at an engine failure late in the race, cost him the national championship in the battle that went down to the final race in Miami with Bobby Rahal. Could that be the factor here again today as Michael pounds the wheel in frustration and the crew continues to work desperately at the back of this car?
Well, this is one of the finest crews in the sport. Barry Green thrills this team. They know every inch of that car. If it can be fixed, they're certainly the team that's going to get it done. But can you imagine, Tom, the frustration that Michael feels at this moment?
Well, not only the frustration, but, you know, he's got to be a little happy that the wing fell off in the pits and not on a racetrack.
Here it is again. They tried to get the car going by dropping the clutch while it was on the jacks.
Yeah, they tried to get the RPMs up and let it off and let it go, but obviously not enough RPM.
Well, the leader of the race is this man, Jeff Brabham, as he brings that Honda-powered number 15 into the pits. This should be routine for Jeff.
It should be routine. Again, getting better mileage, so he's able to stay out just a little bit longer, and that could be a big advantage before this race is over.
So Jeff Brabham, the Gallus team, jumps on top of the car, gives it regular service, and Rick Mears streaks by the start-finish line as Jeff Brabham pulls away, and Rick Mears is back in the lead in the Quaker State 500. And Michael Andretti also now begins to roll away from his pit and back into the action. They finally got everything changed and have Michael Andretti back into the fight as well, though a very costly stop. He dropped back as far as 11th place. Rick Mears, car number 8, is the leader. Jeff Brabham came in for 16.2 seconds and picked up 3 tires and fuel. Mears leads, Guerrero is second. We'll be right back. We're back at the Quaker State 500 at Pocono. Paul Page with Tom Sneva, Gary Gerald, and Sally Larvik. We've had a quick little yellow session and a spin by Gary Bettenhausen, and we are back to green flag already. And that is Rick Mears, car number 8, the bright yellow machine that leads the pack back to green. Then back 2 cars, the 15 machine, Jeff Brabham, currently runs in second place. That bright day-glow machine, car number 4, Roberto Guerrero, rides now in third place.
Well, the Brabham car with the Honda is continually doing a great job out there. So we got a Chevrolet and a Honda, 2 engines that reliability is still a question mark on leading this race at this point.
Well, it would be wonderful if Jeff Brabham could get up and catch Rick Mears. Nice victory in either case. Rick has been dry for 2 years. Jeff Brabham has never seen the checkered flag first. 4 times he has been second place. He's riding in second right now and is chasing Rick Mears. Smooth run at the Quaker State 500 for Rick, though. He's doing what he does best now, just saving that car. 360 miles complete. We've had 5 different leaders. The lead has changed 9 times. The average speed swelled down off a record at 156 miles an hour. 4 caution flags. The first one came when Scotty Brayton spun it on the opening lap. Johnny Rutherford and Brayton went out at that time. Then Jeff McPherson got involved with the wall. No injuries with any of those individuals. Then Mario got involved with the wall. A smack against the first turn. He went to the track hospital. He's now out, and he is available for comment, so let's go down to Sally Larvik.
Mario Andretti, we're glad that you're okay. At least semi-okay. How are you feeling?
Well as expected. Looks like it's a separation of my shoulder, and I don't know, it could have been worse, I suppose. I hit quite hard.
Am I correct in saying this is not the same shoulder that you injured earlier?
No, fortunately it's the other side, because otherwise I might have bent some plates, some metal plates, and that wouldn't have been so good.
From your perspective on the track, what happened?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure whether I lost it or something broke. I just have to look at the film. It just it happened so suddenly that I got no warning on it. So, as I say, I'm really in the fog about it myself.
From our vantage point, it looks like you lost it in the dirt. Do you have any recollection?
No, absolutely not. Not in the dirt. I went in low because I know I was behind Michael, and I was trying to take a low line through turn one, and it's not dirt. If you saw a puff of smoke, it said lime that was on the track the entire week. But again, I was perfectly in line. There was a tight line going in, but back end felt fine, so there was no reason for it to go around on me like that. But then again, anything could happen, I suppose.
Mario, thank you. We're glad you're okay.
Thank you.
Rick Mears leads the race. It looked like in Mario Andretti's case, the back end just came around. So these are the cars out of the race to this point. Rutherford and Brayton in that first lap crash. Dale Coyne then went with oil pressure. Al Unser Jr. had that electrical problem not once but twice. It finally took him out. Tony Bettenhausen pulled his car by the side. Dick Simon, broken right wrist, said he didn't think he was going to go very far, pulled away on the 20th lap. And of course, Mario Andretti slamming the wall. His son Michael is still in this race despite having the wing literally pushed off the car on a pit stop. They replaced the wing, got him back in. He is currently running 9th. But we are looking now at second place. Jeff Brabham, that is Roberto Guerrero in third place, car number 4 that is closing down behind.
Well, Roberto has been running a real smart race. You know, he's been not overusing the equipment, just keeping pace. He's right there in the lead lap, and they've probably been making adjustments in the car throughout the race, so he's starting to be a lot more competitive now than he was earlier in this race.
Roberto, a man who has had problems on his pit stops in previous races. Indianapolis 500, a devastating pit stop in the last stop of the race where the car just wouldn't hook up, wouldn't leave the pits, and as a result, he lost the Indianapolis 500. Likeable young man, just built a new home out in California, keeps a second home in Indianapolis, Indiana, hails from Columbia. Lovely wife, Katie. It'd be wonderful to see Roberto score yet another victory. We started this race with 26 cars. 16 of those are still running. Rick Mears leads it. Jeff Brabham and Roberto Guerrero chase him. Only 3 cars on the leader lap at the moment. And Bobby Rahal, who fell back into the teens, has now worked his way up to 4th place, and he is 2 laps behind the leader.
Well, Bobby's done a good job trying to get things back. He's running almost as quick as the leaders, and with the green flag stops and the good pit stops that his crew obviously always gives him, he's back in action.
You're on board with Bobby Rahal right now, running in 4th place.
Again, onboard camera gives you a little bit of insight. We can't see as much of the driver as we'd like to here. You can see his hand pop up there a little bit, showing the kind of action that he's going through. A little visor problem, signaling possibly.
Well, if Bobby Rahal would continue running in 4th place, he would finish with 133 points. To Rick Mears, how do you look on the fact it's been 2 years since your last win?
Well, it's always frustrating, to have something like that, but it's just something you deal with each day. Each race, you go race to race, and, you always see a little light at the end of the tunnel that makes things look a little better. Or, we've had some good accomplishments, even though we haven't won races. We've sat on some poles, and we've set some records, and that kind of thing. So that always kind of brightens things up a little bit, and that helps carry you through, that kind of thing. Now, if a guy wasn't having any of those either, then it would be a little more difficult, but... And with the team we have, with the Penske team, you always know that eventually, that's another thing that keeps you going. You know it's going to get turned around sooner or later. It just hasn't gotten turned around as soon as we would have liked it to, but it will happen.
Well, that light at the end of the tunnel for Rick Mears may be just 100 miles away, and it may be checkered when he gets there. Rick Mears leads it. Jeff Brabham chases in second. We'll be back. Pocono, this is Paul Page with Tom Sneva, and this situation developed just moments ago. Al Unser spun, bringing out the yellow, and that brought his teammate, Rick Mears, into the pits. Now, this was a routine stop for the Penske team. Quick service, out and rolling. But the team of Roberto Guerrero got that car out very fast as well. And as a result, Guerrero got past Mears on the exit of the pits. Guerrero beat Mears out. So it's Guerrero with the lead, and Rick Mears running in third place as he tries to catch the second-place car of Jeff Brabham. Roberto Guerrero picking up an advantage with pit stops, running in the lead of this 500-mile race. Jeff Brabham with a superlative performance, especially considering that Honda racing engine, running now in second place with a good shot at winning the Quaker State 500.
But look at Mears come through the pack. The first lap, he passed a lot of cars. He got a good start, passed a lot of people, so he's fast right now.
Still some oil dry up in the third turn. There's your leader, that brightly colored car number 4, Roberto Guerrero. And he has about a 2-second lead now ahead of the second-place car, Jeff Brabham. There's third place, Rick Mears. He sits back almost 6 seconds behind the leader.
Well, he topped off late, Rick did. They got all the fuel in the car they could possibly go. We'll have to wait to see if they're going to try to stretch it to the end.
Well, the scene is certainly set as we watch the leader, Roberto Guerrero. Computation away from the pits would give you to believe that this man, Roberto Guerrero, has to stop again, probably within about 12 laps of the finish. 12 laps, or 12 miles of the finish, 5 laps of the end of the race. But the question is, can they stretch it? Can they get it beyond that distance?
Well, we haven't seen Roberto go that long on a certain green lap segment, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Brabham, another case, he's been getting great mileage, so we're just going to have to wait and watch.
Rick Mears runs in third. There's the second-place car, Jeff Brabham. Roberto Guerrero is the leader of the race at the moment. The question is going to be fuel. How much can they take? How far? It seems that at least 2 teams are betting that they might be able to go to the finish or expecting yet another yellow flag. But the Penske team has been very, very careful twice during a yellow to top the car up and make sure that they had a full load of fuel as soon as they came back to green. Still, it would seem like it's stretching it for Penske.
Oh, it really is, but you got to take that gamble, because if you get a late yellow, you want to be able to go as far as you can in a segment and take advantage of any kind of situation that might develop. So it's just smart racing.
Well, Rick Mears pulled around Pancho Carter and closes down on Jeff Brabham. Let's go to the pits, Gary Gerald.
Here's Roger Penske, the owner, of course, of Rick Mears' car. Roger, now how close are you going to be in this fuel situation? Do you think you can make it to the checkered after topping off?
Well, I had to do that because Brabham might be getting better fuel mileage, and he came in there at the end, so we couldn't take a chance. So we're going to try to go all the way. I think Guerrero's going to have to stop, and I don't know about Brabham, so I think we're racing Brabham right now.
Are you happy with the balance of the car?
The car's fine. It's just a matter of see if we can run to the end.
You've changed the left front the last couple of times. Well, now he's back up on the wall, and he's taking a look because he's anticipating his driver coming by. He's chasing Roberto Guerrero on the front straightaway.
And what he's watching, Gary, is this. His driver, Rick Mears, as he comes up to challenge the second-place car of Jeff Brabham. And Mears, full load of fuel and flying as fast as he can, comes past Brabham and into second place. Now, ready to set sights on Roberto Guerrero, 4 seconds ahead.
Well, Rick's obviously the fastest car in the racetrack right now. What that's going to do to his chances to run all day without stopping for fuel one more time, I don't know. But he's flying right now.
Well, Rick Mears has been running laps above 190 miles an hour, sitting there with a full load, wondering, well, maybe they can make the end of the race. Question is this car, Jeff Brabham, different kind of power plant, that Honda machine. It saves fuel in a different way. So the question is, can it go to the finish as well? It would seem logical that all 3 of the top cars in this race would have to stop one more time. Roberto Guerrero leads the race. Rick Mears is in second. Let's go to Sally Larvick.
And Paul, I have with me the owner of the leading car, Vince Granatelli. Vince, are you going to be able to go to the end of the race without stopping for fuel?
That all depends on whether or not we have any yellow lights. If we don't have a yellow, I think we're going to have to make one more stop with just a drop of fuel.
Do you have any idea when you might make that stop?
We hope to make it approximately about the 195th lap, 194th lap, if our car goes that far without a yellow.
Thank you, Vince. Back to you, Paul.
The fight now is for the lead, and Rick Mears comes alongside Roberto Guerrero. In turn 1, he drives past. Clearly the fastest car on the race course. Rick Mears just hauls Guerrero in and breezes by.
Well, no question about that, Paul. I thought it might take Rick a lap or 2 to get by, but he got a good run off of 3 and was able to get the job done getting into 1.
Mears had just been eating away at Guerrero. He'd been running about 2 miles an hour per lap faster than Roberto Guerrero, and so Rick Mears goes back into the lead. And and is possibly looking at his first win in 2 years. The last time he won was here at Pocono in 1985.
Well, it's sort of a helpless feeling for Guerrero. You know, he leads the race for 10 or 15 laps. Mears comes up and blows him off. Roberto's running as hard as he can. He would have liked to try to hold him back a little bit, but on a big racetrack like this, it's a little bit harder to make your car wide enough to keep somebody that's 2 miles an hour quicker behind it.
The question now is one of fuel. Can Rick Mears go the entire distance without refueling? Our computations would say no. Vince Granatelli kind of confirmed that they're going to have to stop before the end of this race.
Well, you got an interesting situation. Mears has got some of the electronic fuel management program technology on board his car. Guerrero doesn't. This could be a factor. Roberto's not getting the fuel mileage, and even under the yellow will not get the mileage that Rick Mears will.
While Rick Mears leads, this race may yet be decided by the pit crew.
Well, here's Rick Gallis, the owner of Jeff Brabham's car. You've clearly had the best fuel mileage, it seems, all day. Can you go the distance?
Yeah, we're going to go the distance, and I just don't know if the other ones can or not. Have you heard anything?
Is it a gamble for you?
No, it's no gamble.
He's very confident. They say they can go the distance, Paul.
So the question for this car is, can it make it to the finish? That is Jeff Brabham. He is running in third place. There's the leader, Rick Mears. But the crew begins to indicate that Roberto Guerrero is going to stop. And there he is. Let's go to Sally.
And the crew is out on the track. They're just going to change 2 tires. They're putting fuel into the car, and Guerrero is off.
So they just topped the car off with fuel. They were ready for a tire change. They said, no, let's not do it. Top that car with fuel and get it back into the action. Roberto Guerrero now has enough to go to the finish. Does this man, Rick Mears? He is the leader. The Penske team is always ready in the pits with just 5 laps to go now. And Rick Mears is leading the race. You can see there is Chris Mears, his wife, up in the scoring stand. Roger Penske watches, and for the moment, that's about all they can do. The crew can be prepared for when they might be able to help Rick. They've got one car off to the side, Ludwig Heimrath. He's down low. Based on the rules, they should not go yellow at this point unless that's in a dangerous position. And it does not appear to be. Well, it's pretty close to the edge of the track. It's whether or not they make an arbitrary decision to go yellow. Tom, they try not to go yellow in the last few laps.
Well, they really do, and they ask the drivers to get the cars off the racetrack so it doesn't disturb the outcome of the race, and sometimes that's easier to do than others.
What do you think about Rick? Enough fuel to make it?
It's hard to say. What's really ironic is Guerrero's team was one of the first teams to play with fuel management programs. They haven't been happy with it. It's still not in the race car. The Chevrolet and Honda both have the management programs.
Roger Penske watches so carefully as Rick Mears comes off of that third turn one more time. Go back. Think about it. 1973. Roger McCluskey was leading this race in 1973. He ran out of fuel on the final lap, giving A.J. Foyt the win in 1973. Rick Mears leads the race. This is second place. Jeff Brabham. His team has already said they will go to the finish no matter what. They think they have enough fuel. The question now is the leader, Rick Mears. 2 years with no wins. And Rick Mears just might be doing it again. His last victory 2 years ago this week here at Pocono. You take a look at Rick Mears, his Pocono record, 2 first place. And Rick is hoping to put one more number 1 in that column. There is Chris Mears, his wife. She times the car, she watches. She hopes that Rick Mears can get the job done here with 198 laps now complete. Just 5 miles to go for Rick Mears. Is there 5 miles worth of fuel in that car?
I'm not sure. You know, we know Brabham went this kind of distance early in the race under a green situation. I'm not sure about Rick.
Well, Chris Mears wishes as hard as she can and just hopes that there is. Rick Mears is obviously being very careful with that throttle now. He had some very fast laps to get himself into the lead. And he burned up a lot of fuel then, so now I imagine he's on a total economy run.
Well, he is right now, but like you say, he had to use it up early to get through the pack because of the way they strategized that last pit stop.
Rick Mears, 1 lap to go. A simple 2.5 miles. Is there enough fuel? Jeff Brabham runs in second place. Can he catch Mears in this lap? It's not likely if Mears stays on the power. But can Mears finish the lap? It's a tremendous gamble for the Penske team. They've decided to go the whole distance. There's no stopping now for Rick Mears, and there will be no other laps. This is the final lap. Car number 8, the Pennzoil. It is a march. It is powered by Chevrolet. This would mean the first win for Chevrolet at 500 miles. Can they get it done? There is still a question. Look at Chris. She praised this car around. If she could pick it up and carry it, she would. It's the final turn for Rick Mears. There are 2 checkered flags, and there they are. Rick Mears comes across the line, slows down as he does it. I think he ran out of fuel as he came to the line. Rick Mears, he's done it. A 2-year dry spell is over. And we watch for second place. Here is Jeff Brabham as he comes off the last corner, and for the 5th time in his IndyCar career, Jeff Brabham finishes in second. And Roger Penske says, whoa, we did it. Roberto Guerrero finishes now in 3rd place. What a tremendous win, though, for Rick Mears. Bobby Rahal will maintain the points lead with 129 points. Michael Andretti has 115, and Rick Mears has won it. We'll be back to talk to him right after this.
Here at Pocono International Raceway, as well as our sponsorship of the Quaker State Porsche car, which will start at September 20th at Nazareth, Pennsylvania, is the beginning of our involvement in the CART PPG series on it. We are particularly pleased and happy to be involved with this CART PPG series, in that it's a natural extension of our marketing effort of marketing motor oil to the consumer, those in the stands watching the race today, as well as those watching television.
Well, Quaker State brought the fans one whale of a 500-miler. Rick Mears is now a 3-time winner at Pocono. Let's go down to winner's circle and Gary Gerald.
Well, the helmet comes off. Roger Penske is here. Chris Mears is here. The first time that she's had an opportunity as Mrs. Rick Mears to experience the emotion of victory lane. She steps in on the far side. Rick fumbling here to get the helmet off. The guy loves this racetrack. He's a 3-time winner now at Pocono, 82, 85, back in 87. The congratulatory kiss. Rick, you gotta love this place. My goodness gracious, it's been 2 years almost to the day, and here you are again with a checkered flag, and I know it's a big moment.
I tell you, it really is. You know, as you said, being 2 years today, that makes it a very big moment. And this track has always been good to us, you know, and we've always run well here, and we've had a lot of good luck here. And I just gotta say, the Pennzoil car and the guys just did one heck of a job. They had everything. The strategy figured out, the fuel. I ran out coming off of turn 3 for the checkered flag, and I thought, oh boy, here we go.
It sounded that way down the front stretch.
And it finally made it. You know, still made it all around, and just barely coasted back into here, and it is a great day.
It's a great moment, and I know it's one that he's looked forward to for some time. The victory drought is broken. Rick Mears is back.
Over 2, buddy. Mears' 21st IndyCar win, the 18th for his chief mechanic, Peter Parrott. Jeff Brabham will be a winner someday, comes in second. Roberto Guerrero third. Ari Lyondike equals his best finish, and Bobby Rahal stayed in there for a 5th place finish, followed by Carter, Foyt, Andretti, Kevin Cogan, and Derek Daly started last and finished 10th. In those ever so important points, Bobby Rahal still leads, a strong lead over Michael Andretti, then Guerrero, Fittipaldi, then Father Mario, Ari Lyondike, Unser Jr., Mears, Sullivan, and Brabham. Rick Mears really knows how to save a race car.
No question about it, Paul. Not too many daily double winners today. Who would have guessed Chevrolet and Honda would run 1-2 at the Pocono 500?
And Rick Mears wins the race. This broadcast produced under the authority granted by Championship Auto Racing teams for the private use of their audience. Any reproduction of the broadcast without the express written permission of Championship Auto Racing teams is expressly prohibited. Paul Page for Tom Sneva, Gary Gerald, and Sally Larvik. So long from Pocono.